Thank you all. Senator Kennedy, would you like to do a second round of questions?
I would, Madam Chair. Can you hear me?
I can.
First, let me thank all our witnesses. You have been terrific. I've got a couple of quick questions. I'd like to get to all four of you to experience the expertise of each of you. So if you could just give me some brief answers. Number one of the advantages, it seems to me, of let's say Bitcoin, a cryptocurrency Bitcoin, people like the fact that it's a decentralized ledger. They like the fact that it's private in the sense that the information is encrypted. I guess what I'm saying is, let me start with Dr. Narula. Could we establish a digital dollar where the information, the transactions are encrypted using blockchain technology?
Thank you, Senator. So blockchain technology has gotten a lot of attention, but encryption and techniques like it existed well before the first blockchain, which was Bitcoin. But yes, indeed, I think that encryption will form a core part of any central bank digital currency that is launched, simply because it's best practice. And it's a very important tool to enable privacy.
Okay, great. Thank you. Professor Manand, is it Manand or Manand?
Manand, Senator.
Professor, other than, and I'm not minimizing what I'm about to mention, but other than making our payment system more efficient, cheaper, quicker, what other advantages do you see to a digital dollar? Somebody mentioned the ability of China through its digital yuan to access some new commercial possibilities. Maybe you want to elaborate on that. I don't know. I don't mean to give you the answer.
Look, Senator, I think easy and cheaper to transfer, these are the cardinal virtues of a money and payment system. So one response is just, what more do you need than a system that's doing? But I would say that offering non-defaultable money with no maximum amount would be stabilizing for the U.S. financial system in ways that people haven't thought about. So large companies right now don't have access to that. And it would be very helpful to large companies to be able to hold very, very large cash balances in non-defaultable amounts. And this could crowd out a lot of unsafe and unstable alternative products that those companies use right now. And I think if we called up the CEOs of the top S&P 500, they would all like to be able to do that, to have safer digital money. And that's an additional benefit that is different from easy and cheap to transfer.
Dr. Duffy?
Yeah, well, in addition to everything that's mentioned, central bank digital currency is fungible, it's interoperable. What that means is when I go into your store and I want to pay for something, I don't have to fish around for the correct button on my mobile phone to use. Mm-hmm. When I want to pay a friend for dinner, I don't have to ask him, well, do you have Venmo or Zelle or can I just give you some paper money? We can just instantly move money back and forth. That makes money move faster. It makes it easier for the central bank to implement monetary policy, because when the Fed raises interest rates, for example, or lowers interest rates throughout the economy will follow very closely, because it's the same kind of money moving everywhere very quickly. So that's an additional advantage, is getting the central bank monetary policy implemented well. And again, the technology can be exported for commercial advantage to other countries if the US has the technology. But if it waits for China to develop the technology first, then the US is going to lose commercial advantage.
Chairman Giancarlo, let me ask you this in the few minutes I have left. Does the Federal Reserve have the authority, in your opinion, to do all this unilaterally on its own, or does it need congressional authority?
Well, rather than my opinion, and perhaps what's more important is Chairman Powell's opinion. I think he said recently that the Federal Reserve would require more authority to do this. Having said that, I think there's a fair amount of authority to do some basic level exploration, the work that's already being done at the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston with Professor Narula's help. but also in the private sector. And that's what we're doing at the Digital Dollar Project. We're going to bring the resources of the private sector to bear to do some experimentation, do it on a fully transparent basis, make everything that comes out of our experiments fully available, and do it in a way that it complements the work of the Fed, doesn't conflict with it. Look at some of the social use cases, the commercial use cases, the societal use cases, and working with responsible actors, make that information available for use by the public sector. Ultimately, these big decisions are going to be made by Congress. They're going to be made by an administration. They're big, weighty issues, but the public does have something to say on these issues. And so we can bring that to bear. Hopefully the decision that comes out is one that meets our social needs and also meets our monetary needs and the core value of money, which is a social good.
Well, let me thank you all again. It's somewhat unusual to have as many senators as we had today participate in a subcommittee hearing like this. And I think that's an indication of how interesting this topic is and the expertise to which you bring to it. Thank you all, and thank our chair for doing this.
So thank you, Senator Kennedy. And with your indulgence, I have one more issue I'd like to talk about.
Absolutely.
Of course, good. And you're welcome to do another round of questions if you want.
Is it about overdraft fees?
No. This one's a little different.
I had to ask.
Okay, thank you. So it's about, we've talked a lot today about the dangers that cryptocurrencies pose to our economy. We've talked about the rip-offs, the